The conference room at my parents' suburban home had always felt suffocating, but today it was unbearable. 12 pairs of eyes, ranging from my grandmother's roomy glare to my cousin Mark's smug sideways glance, bore into me with surgical precision. I adjusted my blazer, a remnant of my professional wardrobe from before the layoff, and tried to maintain composure. "Alexandra," my father began, his voice carrying that practiced tone of disappointed authority, "we need to discuss your current situation." Current situation. Such a polite euphemism for being unexpectedly unemployed in a cutthroat marketing landscape. I was 32, had graduated top of my class from Northwestern, and had built an impressive portfolio at Quantum Digital Solutions, until last month's brutal corporate restructuring. My mother, pristinely dressed in her signature pearl-trimmed sweater, placed a folder on the mahogany table. "We've prepared some options," she said, her smile not quite reaching her eyes. Uncle Richard, the family's self-proclaimed business patriarch, leaned forward. His pinstripe suit screamed old money confidence. "The Thompson General Store could always use management support," he suggested, a statement that was more command than offer. I knew this meeting was choreographed long before I arrived. They had rehearsed their interventions, plotted their strategies to redirect my life's trajectory. My urban professional dreams didn't align with their small-town expectations. My younger sister, Emma, avoided eye contact, her silence more telling than any spoken word. She understood the unspoken family dynamics better than anyone. Survival meant conforming or being systematically marginalized. "I'm actively networking," I responded, my voice controlled. "Marketing consulting opportunities are—" "Opportunities?" Uncle Richard interrupted. "What opportunities exist when you can't even maintain a stable position?" The room's temperature seemed to drop. Each word was a calculated knife, precisely aimed to wound my professional identity. They weren't just discussing my career, they were dismantling my sense of self, piece by calculated piece. Little did they know, I was already assembling my own strategy. And this emergency meeting was about to become their worst miscalculation. The meeting continued, a choreographed performance of familial disappointment. Uncle Richard pulled out a thick manila envelope, his fingers drumming a rhythm of calculated precision against its surface. "We've done some investigating," he said, his voice low and measured. The words hung in the air like a threat. My mother shifted uncomfortably. "It's for your own good, Alexandra." From the envelope, Uncle Richard extracted a series of documents: recommendation letters, email chains, professional records. My blood ran cold as I recognized fragments of my professional history, carefully curated to paint a devastating picture. "Do you know how many calls I've made?" he said, a cruel smile playing at the corners of his mouth. "How many contacts I've spoken with to ensure you understand the consequences of your ambition?" Piece by piece, the betrayal unfolded. Screenshots of emails showed strategically edited conversations. Recommendation letters subtly annotated with whispers of doubt. Professional references carefully poisoned with nuanced criticisms that would never trigger legal repercussions but would forever taint my reputation. My own uncle, the managing director of Thompson Regional Enterprises, had systematically dismantled my professional network. Each contact, each potential opportunity, had been subtly contaminated by his influence. "We want you to come home," my father said, his tone final. "The family business needs you. Your city dreams are nothing but a distraction." Emma's eyes finally met mine, a mixture of guilt and resignation. She knew. She had always known. The pieces clicked together with brutal clarity. This wasn't just a meeting, this was an orchestrated elimination of my professional identity. They hadn't just criticized my career, they had deliberately sabotaged it. My uncle believed he was protecting the family legacy. My parents thought they were saving me from myself. But what they didn't understand was that each calculated move was creating something they never anticipated, a strategist ready to fight back. I looked around the room, committing every face to memory. This was no longer just a family meeting. This was war. The moment I stepped out of my parents' house, I called Miranda, my most trusted professional assistant. Her voice was a lifeline of calm rationality. "I need a complete strategic analysis," I said, my fingers already flying across my laptop's keyboard. Miranda understood immediately. In our 3 years working together, she'd seen me navigate complex corporate landscapes with surgical precision. This was different. This was personal. We set up our war room in my downtown apartment, a minimalist space filled with marketing strategy boards, digital screens, and an intricate network of professional connections. Each wall became a canvas of potential strategies. First, we mapped out Uncle Richard's business ecosystem. Thompson Regional Enterprises wasn't just a small-town operation. They had significant agricultural equipment distribution contracts, government partnerships, and a reputation built on generations of careful management. "Reputation is their strongest asset," Miranda noted, pinning financial reports and partnership agreements to our primary strategy board. "And their most vulnerable point." We spent days meticulously gathering evidence. Digital forensics revealed subtle patterns of manipulation. Uncle Richard had used his extensive network to subtly blacklist me, whispering concerns about my reliability and professional consistency to key industry contacts. My marketing expertise became our primary weapon. I began creating a multi-layered digital strategy that would systematically deconstruct their carefully maintained image. Social media audit trails, professional network recommendations, strategic content placement, each would be a precision instrument. "We're not just seeking revenge," I told Miranda. "We're restoring professional justice." We identified 3 critical vulnerabilities in Uncle Richard's business model: questionable environmental compliance in their agricultural equipment division, potential conflicts of interest in government contract acquisitions, undisclosed family nepotism in key management positions. Miranda's research was meticulous. Each document, each screenshot, each piece of communication was carefully verified and cataloged. We weren't just preparing for confrontation, we were building an irrefutable case. "They thought they could dismantle my career," I said, looking at our strategy board. "They have no idea what's coming." The plan was taking shape. A complex, multidimensional strategy that would make my corporate marketing campaigns look like child's play. My family had declared war, and I was about to show them the true meaning of strategic warfare. The first strike was subtle. A carefully crafted LinkedIn article appeared, seemingly innocuous but loaded with strategic implications. Miranda helped me plant digital breadcrumbs that would draw industry attention to Thompson Regional Enterprises' questionable practices. Within days, local business journals began asking questions. Environmental watchdog groups started digging into the company's agricultural equipment distribution records. My uncle's pristine reputation began to develop microscopic cracks. I leveraged my network strategically. Former colleagues, initially hesitant, became emboldened as more information surfaced. Each professional connection became a potential amplifier of the emerging narrative. A series of anonymous tips to regulatory bodies followed. Nothing directly traceable to me, but each tip meticulously researched and substantiated. Government contract review boards initiated preliminary investigations into the company's procurement processes. Uncle Richard's first signs of panic emerged during a regional business conference. I watched from the sidelines as he fielded increasingly uncomfortable questions about the company's compliance records. His trademark confidence began to fray at the edges. My parents started receiving concerned calls from extended family members. Whispers of potential legal investigations spread through their social circles like wildfire. The carefully constructed family narrative was unraveling, thread by delicate thread. Miranda's role was crucial. She managed the digital landscape with surgical precision, ensuring each piece of information appeared organic and independently sourced. Search engine results began shifting, subtly at first, then more dramatically. Local media picked up the mounting stories. A podcast investigation delved into the company's historical practices. Social media influencers specializing in business ethics found a compelling narrative taking shape. The financial impact was immediate. 3 major corporate partners began distancing themselves from Thomson Regional Enterprises. Potential government contract renewals became uncertain. The family's social capital started to erode. Emma reached out to me, her message a mixture of fear and reluctant admiration. "What are you doing?" she texted. I didn't respond. Uncle Richard's attempts to counteract the narrative fell flat. Each defensive statement seemed to dig him deeper. His network of professional allies began to fracture, self-preservation instincts kicking in. I attended a local business event, maintaining a perfect facade of professional detachment. From across the room, I could see the tension in my uncle's shoulders, the slight tremor in his hands as he navigated increasingly hostile professional interactions. "Sometimes," I whispered to Miranda during a strategic call, "revenge is a dish best served with impeccable professional credentials." The war had only just begun, and I was just getting started. The annual Northwest Business Leadership Summit was the pinnacle of regional corporate networking. For years, Thomson Regional Enterprises had been a centerpiece of the event, with Uncle Richard serving as a keynote speaker. This year would be different. Miranda and I had spent months preparing. Every detail was calculated, every moment choreographed with the precision of a military operation. As Uncle Richard took the stage, the room buzzed with an unusual tension. I sat in the 4th row, perfectly composed, watching the carefully constructed plan unfold. The event's livestream ensured our audience would be far broader than the conference hall. "Ladies and gentlemen," began the event moderator, "we have some unexpected developments before our keynote speaker." A digital presentation flickered to life behind Uncle Richard. Meticulously documented environmental violations. Detailed spreadsheets revealing nepotism in contract acquisitions. Screenshots of compromising communications that painted a devastating picture of systematic corporate misconduct. My assistant Miranda, dressed impeccably in a tailored navy suit, approached the microphone. Her voice was calm, professional, clinical. "Distinguished guests, we have substantive evidence of systematic corporate malfeasance within Thomson Regional Enterprises," she began, her presentation seamlessly transitioning through layers of documented proof. Uncle Richard's face transformed. The confident patriarch dissolved into a man desperately trying to maintain composure. Sweat beaded on his forehead. His perfectly pressed shirt began to show dark patches of perspiration. The room fell silent. Industry leaders, government representatives, and local media representatives watched in stunned disbelief as years of carefully constructed reputation crumbled in real time. Emails revealed how Uncle Richard had systematically blocked professional opportunities, not just for me, but for other young professionals who didn't align with his narrow worldview. Financial records exposed questionable fund allocations. Performance reviews showed a pattern of deliberate professional suppression. "This isn't just about one individual's career," Miranda continued, her tone measured and devastating. This is about a systemic approach to maintaining power through manipulation and false narratives. I watched, a strange calmness settling over me. This wasn't merely revenge, this was professional justice. Government representatives began making calls. Journalists furiously typed on their laptops. The Thompson family's reputation, generations in the making, was disintegrating before their eyes. My parents sat in the audience, their faces a mixture of shock and dawning comprehension. They had never understood the depth of their complicity, the systematic way they had supported a toxic family dynamic. As the presentation concluded, the room erupted, some in shock, some in anger, some in a strange mixture of admiration and horror. Uncle Richard, once the undisputed patriarch of the Thompson family's business empire, now stood exposed. His network of influence, carefully cultivated over decades, collapsed like a house of cards. Miranda returned to my side, a subtle smile playing on her lips. "Mission accomplished," she whispered. I had entered this battle as a victim. I was leaving as a victor. The weeks following the conference were a whirlwind of professional transformation. My phone rang constantly. Job offers, media interview requests, professional networking opportunities that had been mysteriously absent before. Uncle Richard's empire crumbled rapidly. Thompson Regional Enterprises faced multiple investigations. Government contracts were suspended. The family's social standing disintegrated faster than anyone could have predicted. My parents attempted reconciliation, but the damage was irreparable. Their first approach was a carefully worded email, filled with corporate-style language that barely masked their desperation. "We can discuss this," my mother wrote, "as a family." I showed the email to Miranda, who laughed. As if nothing happened. 3 major marketing firms recruited me immediately. My reputation wasn't just restored, it was elevated. The very network my uncle tried to destroy became my most powerful ally. Emma was the only family member who truly understood. She called me one evening, her voice a mixture of admiration and fear. "You destroyed him," she said, not as an accusation, but as a statement of fact. I hadn't just taken revenge. I had dismantled a toxic system of familial control that had oppressed generations. My strategic takedown wasn't personal. It was professional justice. The local business community watched in fascination. What began as a family dispute had become a case study in corporate accountability. Methodical approach became a topic of discussion in business schools and professional networks. Uncle Richard never directly contacted me. His lawyers sent cease and desist letters that Miranda expertly navigated, each communication further exposing their weakness. My professional renaissance wasn't just about getting a new job. It was about reclaiming my narrative, about proving that manipulation has consequences. Miranda remained my closest ally. "We're not just colleagues," she told me. "We're strategic partners." As the dust settled, I realized revenge wasn't about destruction. It was about reconstruction, about building something stronger from the ruins of what was meant to break you. The Thompson family would never be the same, and neither would I.